Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ash, and if you're new here, I am experimenting with YouTube and seeing what happens. Is the too long didn't read version of it. And in today's video, we are going to do some predictions for 2024. So let's get into the video. Also, there is literally nothing behind me, so I have no idea whether I'm properly in frame or not, but we are still in the process of moving from this house to another house, so that's why there is literally no furniture here, and pretty much the floor is empty except for a few things. So there's that, and this week we are moving to the new house, so hopefully the next video will be there. And I have taken your feedback to put Luke in more videos, so let's see if we can convince him. But we'll give him a bit of a plug. He's just made a public Instagram, so you can go follow him at Lukes_ridiculous_nonsense on Instagram if you want to keep up with him. But yeah, I thought for today's video, I'd have a go at writing 24 predictions for 2024. Now, I thought about some last year. At the end of last year, I made like a blog post about it, and this year I wanted to do one kind of early on, but it's now the middle of February, so let's just get into them, and I'll post a blog post down below as well so you can read that. So prediction number 1 is that there will be further 5G integration. So this means faster internet speeds, upload time, things like that. And also 5G does not cause COVID. It is just the 5th generation of like internet technology. Number 2. My second prediction for 2024 is that remote work culture or hybrid work culture will become the norm, and it kind of already has, but I think more companies will turn to that to encourage people to apply to work there. My third prediction is that self-driving cars will become more popular, especially with like Uber rides to and from the airport and things like that, or nights out. And they kind of scare me a little bit. I don't know, I've never been in a self-driving car, and I know like Google has them and Uber's like trialing them in certain countries, but I think they'll get a lot more popular, and I think it might actually benefit Uber because they might actually be able to make a capital return this year. So my fourth prediction, and quick side note here, it is really hot today, so I am sweating so much. It's meant to get to like 38, I think. I'm not sure, but it's meant to be really hot. Anyway, my fourth prediction is that there will be further innovations in food technology. So we'll see a rise in lab-grown meat, for example, and more plant-based alternatives. And things will slowly become more sustainable, but I'm not entirely sure how healthy these things are. I'm not an expert in this area. So if you are, please let me know what you think of this. And please let me know in the comments if you would eat lab-grown meat, if you do eat meat, or lab-grown tofu. I don't know where soy comes from particularly. I know it's processed. Anyway, I'm gonna give myself an existential crisis if I keep talking about this. Also, another side note is I'm not like a psychic or anything. I just wrote down some predictions that I thought would be fun to think about for 2024. The 5th 2024 prediction that I have made is that remote healthcare options will become more popularized. So we will see a rise in more telehealth consultations, more like video messaging between health practitioners and patients. And it'll become easier for people who like live out in the countryside and whatnot to get to their healthcare providers. So we are up to my 6th prediction for 2024, and this one is that the social media app Threads is going to rise in popularity and potentially take over like Instagram or TikTok. I don't know for sure, and I have a feeling because Universal took away all of their music from TikTok due to their like feud, that TikTok will decrease in popularity, but I'm not 100% convinced. I do think Threads will rise and TikTok might have a bit of a slump, but it might come back up later on. So my 7th prediction for 2024 is that renewable energy will become more popular. So we'll see a rise in things like solar power, wind turbines, and again, the focus on sustainability will rise. And my 8th prediction, I don't know that much about this topic, but I think quantum computing will actually increase and become more popularized in everyday technology. So I think it's just like things being faster in the computer thinking for you. So it might correlate with AI a little bit, but I think the processing will get better in computers like that. And we are up to number 9. I cannot count. And this one is that AR, so augmented reality, will make a comeback. So I think this was really popular when the video games first came out and when Pokemon Go first came out, but I reckon it'll make a comeback. I don't know what I'm basing that off, but I just have this feeling that it will. And my 10th prediction for 2024, I forgot what I was talking about for a second, is that mental health will slowly become destigmatized. And not everywhere in the world, but especially in the Western world. I reckon that is going to become way less stigmatized, and that we'll see a rise in more psychologists using social media and people being more open and vulnerable online, me included, for things that I personally struggle with, and it'll just become more normalized to talk about. And I think I'm getting a little bit of a cold, or my hay fever is playing up, or I'm just like stress sick from moving. So if my voice sounds a little raspy, I'm sorry. I probably need to drink some water too. Okay, so my 11th prediction for 2024 is that we will see a rise in transnational corporations, or just large corporations in general, have a focus on cybersecurity. So I think last year there might have been some big hacks, especially in Australia. There definitely, was it last year or the year before? It must have been 2022. Some big hacks in companies like Optus, Medibank, things like that, where everyone's data was no longer protected. And I feel like large companies have learnt from that, and so they'll focus more on protecting people's privacy, especially with the rise of AI and hackers. They want to protect from hackers, and we don't really want a real life Mr. Robot situation, unless it would benefit would benefit the 99%. It would benefit me because it would pay off my student loan, but I don't want that. I want to pay it myself. But also, okie dokie, we are up to my 12th prediction, so this is halfway if I can do maths correctly. And for my 12th prediction for 2024, I think that AI will definitely rise. That one is really obvious, not really a prediction, but I think it'll become more of a fact checker, especially for things like journalism, and then in turn we'll have more of a constant news cycle. I know we already have 24/7 news, but AI will fact check it for them and make sure it's right. I don't know how, but they'll do that, and then the information will just be published. And AI might start proofreading things. Who really knows? AI is limitless, scary, but also exciting, and they should regulate it. My 13th prediction for 2024 is that sustainability will become the new buzzword, and it already kind of is, but I think we're going to see an increase, especially following a pandemic when everything's like kind of back to normal now, and people really need to focus. I know me and you probably do our part. We do our recycling, we do our composting, but we need those big corporations to make change. And yeah, they really need to sort their shit out. My 14th prediction for 2024 is that something scary will happen at a Taylor Swift concert. I don't know where, and I know this is very vague. It could be anything from just some people going a bit crazy, throwing something at her, or maybe it's something as scary as like things that have happened in the past. I'm not sure whether I'm allowed to talk about them, but awful things that have happened at like Ariana Grande's concerts. My 15th prediction for 2024 is that esports will become the most popular on sites like YouTube, Twitch, Discord, and it'll be like a focus. There's so much focus on gaming channels now, and they seem to do so well. Maybe I should start gaming. I'm not super good at gaming. I like video games, but I don't know how I'd go at streaming. I also really struggle to like screen record my own phone, so I don't know if I could work it out. I probably could, but maybe one day, maybe we'll do a video games night with me and Luke playing on our Switch. We have 2 games. We have Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and we have the sports one. If you want to see me smash Luke at badminton though, please comment below and I will do that. And we will work out how to screen record. So my 16th prediction for 2024 is that we will see the rise of new content creators. So they will go up the ranks, and then the older ones are going to be stepping down. So we've already seen a few older ones step down, and I have noticed a little bit on Instagram of like new accounts growing really fast. So that's entirely what I'm basing this off. And I guess we'll have OG 2024 YouTubers, influencers in 10 or so years, and we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll be one of the content creators on the rise. I don't know, maybe we'll see what happens. I believe in myself, but it's whether people like me or not, and I really hope people like me, but also if you don't, that's okay. And I'm going off on a tangent. Let's get to the next prediction. My 17th prediction for 2024 is that we will see the rise of startups or tech companies offering things like educational programs, scholarships, and they'll be offered to a wider range of audiences, or a wider range of people, so people from all walks of life, all backgrounds, all classes, so anyone will be able to apply for them, and it'll mean that more people will be able to get into places like Silicon Valley that are very white male dominated right now. And so we'll see an increase in diversity in that area, which would be really good. So fingers crossed this one actually does happen, because I think it will be a good thing. My 18th prediction for this year is that we will see more robotics or little robots in healthcare places and hospitality places. And I know those two are like not the same thing, but there are some robots in cafes already, and I don't expect it to be them doing surgery or anything really intricate, but I think we'll see them as assistants, as like little waiters, as assistants to bring tools to doctors or receptionists, and I don't know what that would mean for people's jobs, but I think it would be interesting to see. I just really hope that the world doesn't actually turn into a dystopian novel. So my 19th prediction for 2024 is that we will finally see more of the ocean. So we'll be able to get deeper than we have. We might find some new species down there. It's like we've explored so much of space, but we don't know what's in the ocean. So I think that would be really interesting. And imagine if they like found like so many missing people or like missing planes. Like I just think that would be fascinating. Or a species and someone is not happy driving right now. Okay, they stopped. But yeah, I think that we'll actually see more of the ocean. Just fingers crossed no one makes a submarine out of video game controllers or whatever it was. Oh, that's so awful. Make a proper submarine. You have the technology, you have the money. Number 20 is that more mixed reality theme parks will either be, they will make blueprints for, or they will become materialized in real life. So these are theme parks where AI and real life are mixed together. So the rise of like hyper reality. Oh, that would be a really good video to do for like sociology. So Baudrillard's hyper reality, that is so interesting. It's about blurring the lines between, or blurring the boundaries between reality and not reality, and it's so interesting. And I sound like a real nerd, I know, but I am definitely a nerd, so I'm gonna own that. But yeah, I reckon that more theme parks like that will start to materialize, whether it's in blueprints or in real life. And number 21 is that we are going to see the rise of the AI influencer. And I really don't want this because I like real people advertising things to me. I don't want AI to advertise things to me. But yeah, again, it can become hard to differentiate between reality and what's fake, or what's done by AI and what isn't done by AI. But yeah, there will definitely be an AI influencer around, and we might not actually know whether they're a real person or not. So I wonder what the implications of that will be. Will people try and stalk them to figure out whether they're real? I do not condone that. Please do not do that in case there is like a real person. And then other implications like, oh, if that person is real, do we think they're AI? So are we again going to go and harass them or annoy them so we can figure it out? And then how far is too far? So a lot of implications that I can think of right now, and you can probably think of more, but yeah, I think this one is quite scary and I don't really want it, but I can see it happening. So my 22nd prediction for 2024 is that some countries will trial universal basic income. Now this will be good for some countries, but not others. And I think it just should be a thing in general, but that's because I'm probably a socialist. Don't come for me. Capitalism also helps, but I also think everyone does have the right to live a comfortable life no matter who they are or where they are, unless they're like a criminal and need to be in prison. But anyone who needs to pay their bills should be entitled to like a universal basic income. That's just my opinion. And I know lots of people will be like, no, I want to get richer because I'm a capitalist, and that's okay. That's okay to have that opinion. It doesn't make my opinion or your opinion wrong. It's just we're different. But I feel like more socialist countries will start to trial this. I'm really surprised that New Zealand didn't do this at all during COVID, and that Australia had a better financial plan for people during COVID, and New Zealand didn't. So I think a pandemic really made a lot of people, it made a lot of people richer and it made a lot of people poorer, and why not just help people out where you can? But yeah, I don't know which countries will, probably more socialist ones and probably not third world countries. So we'll see if that ever happens. It's a prediction. I don't know. I'm not convinced, but it is my own prediction. So let's hold out some hope that maybe some countries will do that. My 23rd prediction for 2024 is that masculinity will be redefined, and I really hope this happens. So there will be less toxic masculinity, and there will be more emphasis placed on men's vulnerability, men's emotional intelligence, and it being okay to cry for like men, and okay for them to ask for help when they need it. This one is very important to me because I've seen a lot of men in my life struggling with mental health and not being able to open up about it, or just not being able to cry in general. Like, it is okay to cry. I promise you, it is okay to cry, no matter who you are, no matter your gender, no matter your sex, no matter where you are. It is okay to cry if you need to cry. And my very last prediction, so number 24 for 2024, is that there will be a rise in intentional communities again. So this one is probably dependent on other things happening. So if we see a rise in the AI influencer, if we see a rise in universal basic income, if we see a rise in socialist policies, we might see a backlash for certain people to be like, no, I don't want to live like this, I want to live communally, or a backlash against anything. They might be like, let's go live together as an intentional community. And I couldn't do that personally. You guys know my stance on cults and things like that, but it probably will happen. And that's my last prediction for 2024. So there you have it, 24 predictions for 2024 by me. And I've just realized I probably should have made a prediction about that like 9-month TikTok cruise, but I'm really struggling to keep up with that. I don't know what's going on. I know there was like pineapples, then there was some influencers that were going on, and some Australian influencer got on the news about it and is making such a big deal about it and probably won't actually cause any drama. And yeah, I don't know what's going on, but I think some of it's a bit dramatic, some of it is just like, yeah, well, you're on a cruise. And it'll probably be cancelled by the time they get to wherever the war is. The Suez Canal, that's what I'm thinking of. Whenever they get there, they probably will not be able to get through because it'll be way too dangerous, and then they'll need to go home. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'm Ash. I'll see you next time. Let me know in your comments what your 2024 predictions are, and check out the blog post I wrote to go with this video. Much love. Bye!